In the Philippines, nothing captures attention quite like celebrity relationships. And when those relationships come with huge age gaps, the fascination grows even stronger. Is it true love, or is there something else behind the curtain? People can't help but wonder about power, wealth, influence, and motives. Some even say these couples reflect the double standards deeply rooted in society. When an older man is with a younger woman, people raise eyebrows but eventually move on. But when the woman is older, the scrutiny multiplies. But before we start diving into the most talked about couples, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss our future uploads and updates. And when it comes to massive age gaps in Philippine showbiz, nothing tops the story of legendary folk singer Freddie Aguilar. Known worldwide for his timeless hit, Anak. Freddie shocked the public when he introduced his partner, Jovie Albao, who at the time was just 16 years old, while he was already 60. The staggering 44-year gap instantly ignited outrage, debates, and questions about morality, legality, and the boundaries of love. Freddie
hindi naman sila kasali sa issue.
Freddie defended his relationship by saying that Jovie was the one who made him feel alive again. To him, their love was real and genuine, even if the rest of the country couldn't accept it. Still, critics argued it was inappropriate, pointing to the massive generational divide and the power imbalance that comes when one partner is not just decades younger, but still a teenager. The backlash was intense, with headlines and talk shows dissecting every angle of their relationship. Some speculated that Freddie's desire for youth clouded his judgment. Others whispered about Jovie's family, questioning how much approval there really was behind the scenes. Gossip also swirled that it was less about love and more about control, though neither Freddie nor Jovie ever admitted to such claims. Their story became a litmus test for how Filipinos view extreme age gaps.
18 years old pa lang ang kanyang girlfriend ngayon. 60 years old na kasi si Freddie, kaya naman 44 years ang age gap nila ng kanyang kasintahan.
It forced the public to ask, when does age is just a number stop being romantic and start being alarming? Some fans defended Freddie, arguing love has no limits, while others condemned the relationship, saying it crossed lines that should never be blurred. Freddie Aguilar and Jovie Albao's relationship remains one of the most controversial examples in Philippine showbiz history. A love story that many still can't decide whether to call brave, reckless, or simply scandalous. But while this case may be the most shocking, it wasn't the only one that had people talking. The next couple also had a staggering age difference. Yet over time, they earned something rare in celebrity culture: respect. If Freddie Aguilar's love story shocked the nation, the next one proved that even an enormous age gap could eventually win people over. We're talking about the comedy king himself, Dolphy, and the divine diva, Zsa Zsa Padilla. With an age difference of about 35 years, their relationship initially raised the same eyebrows. Yet unlike Freddie's case, time transformed doubt into admiration.
Parehong may karelasyon pa sina Dolphy at Zsa Zsa noon. Nagsasama pa rin noon sina Dolphy at Alma Moreno.
Dolphy was already a legend in Philippine entertainment when he and Zsa Zsa began their relationship in the late 1980s. At first, critics questioned whether this was just another fling or a case of an older man clinging to youth. But as the years went by, Zsa Zsa remained steadfast by Dolphy's side, proving to skeptics that theirs was more than just a fleeting romance. When Dolphy's health began to decline, Zsa Zsa's devotion became impossible to ignore. She was there through his most difficult years, staying with him until his passing in 2012. Despite her loyalty, whispers followed Zsa Zsa throughout their decades together. Some claim she benefited from Dolphy's fame and wealth, suggesting that her career flourished because of his influence.
I guess that he's always in my heart and that I feel his presence all the time. Kahit nag-pass on na siya.
Others even speculated about her motives for staying with a much older partner. Yet those closest to the couple often describe their bond as genuine. citing how Zsa Zsa supported Dolphy emotionally and physically when he needed it most. The story of Dolphy and Zsa Zsa highlights how perception can change over time. What once looked like an odd match slowly turned into one of Philippine showbiz's most enduring love stories. Their relationship challenged the idea that age differences automatically doom a couple to failure. For many, they became proof that love and loyalty could transcend not only age, but also the harsh judgment of an audience. And while Dolphy and Zsa Zsa eventually gained respect, the same couldn't be said right away for another iconic figure in comedy, Vic Sotto, whose love story began under the bright lights of live television. If Dolphy and Zsa Zsa's story softened hearts over time, Vic Sotto and Pauleen Luna's love story showed how relentless public opinion can be, especially when the relationship unfolds right in front of millions of viewers. Their romance began under the bright lights of Eat Bulaga, where Pauleen was a young co-host and Vic was already one of the country's most recognizable comedians and TV hosts. With a 34-year age gap between them, their pairing quickly became one of the most controversial in local showbiz.
And second, I think it should really come from them. Kung ano man yung mga magaganap.
When news of their relationship first broke, social media was flooded with criticism. Many questioned how the two could possibly connect given the generational divide, while others openly speculated about whether their relationship began earlier than admitted. Some accused Vic of using his influence, while skeptics claimed Pauleen might have been drawn to his status and stability. For years, the couple's every move was dissected. Engagement rumors, wedding plans, and eventually, the big day itself in 2016.
This is grace from God.
Sanay ako sa mga jowa lang, mga syotitay, mga fling. Pero masarap pala sabihin yung asawa.
Despite the noise, Vic and Pauleen pushed forward, showing the world that their relationship wasn't just a fleeting spark. They welcomed a daughter together, and over time, the once hostile narrative around them started to soften. Many fans who once doubted them began to see their bond as genuine, especially as Pauleen took on her new role as a mother, and Vic openly expressed his love for his young family. And yet, while Vic and Pauleen eventually carved out stability, another celebrity story took things even further, one that flipped the script entirely by putting an older woman in the spotlight with a partner decades younger. Delas Alas faced an equally tough spotlight when she revealed her relationship with Gerald Sibayan, a man nearly 3 decades her junior. Known as the Queen of Comedy, was no stranger to jokes. But when the punchline became her own love life, the criticisms cut deep. When their romance first surfaced, the public reaction was swift and merciless. Many questioned what a young athlete like Gerald could possibly see in a woman who is old enough to be his mother. Whispers spread that he might be seeking financial security or connections, and for months their relationship became the subject of endless gossip columns and online ridicule. But refused to be defined by the criticism. Instead, she embraced the jokes, often making fun of her own situation in interviews. By turning the negativity into humor, she regained control of the narrative. To her, love didn't need defending, it only needed living.
Sinimulan niya ako sa, "Good morning, ganda." Miss
Ganda.
O, tignan mo.
Gerald, for his part, remained loyal and steady, dismissing doubts about his intentions and proving through his actions that he was serious about building a life with The couple eventually tied the knot in 2017, and over the years, their marriage has continued to prove skeptics wrong. Each milestone they share, whether in their travels, family life, or public appearances, becomes another quiet answer to those who once doubted them. Found strength in laughter, showing that sometimes the best response to doubt is to live happily and unapologetically. And while and Gerald won over critics with humor and resilience, another high-profile couple navigated their age gap by surviving scandals, breakups, and eventual redemption. Vicki Belo and Hayden Kho faced theirs with an entirely different battle, surviving one of the most scandalous controversies in Philippine showbiz. Their relationship carried a 25-year age gap. But what made their love story unforgettable wasn't just the difference in years. It was the chaos, the breakups, and the dramatic reconciliation that played out before the whole nation. Vicki, already a powerful and established figure in the beauty industry, found herself linked to Hayden, a doctor and model whose charm quickly drew attention. But when Hayden became embroiled in multiple scandals, including highly publicized controversies that nearly destroyed his career, their relationship was thrust into the harshest spotlight. Critics questioned why Vicki would stay, with many saying she was risking her reputation for someone who might not deserve it.
If it's okay if I look at some of the procedures, kasi I wanted to be a plastic surgeon.
For years, the couple went through breakups, reconciliations, and endless tabloid speculation. But in the end, their decision to marry in 2017 in a lavish Paris ceremony silenced many doubters. By then, they had weathered the worst storms. And with the arrival of their daughter, Scarlet Snow, their family image began to soften in the public eye. Theirs is a story that illustrates how love can persist through scandal and how forgiveness can rebuild what once seemed broken beyond repair. And while Vicki and Hayden's tale proves that love can sometimes rise from the ashes of controversy, another couple faced an entirely different challenge. A young actress marrying a powerful politician and enduring whispers about wealth, power, and influence. Assunta de Rossi's story with politician Jules Ledesma was marked by suspicion and skepticism.
14 weeks pregnant na aktres si Assunta de Rossi sa asawa niyang si former Congressman Jules Ledesma.
When the young actress tied the knot with Jules, who was 22 years her senior, the headlines were less about romance and more about motives. Critics immediately painted Assunta as a gold digger, accusing her of marrying into political power and wealth rather than for love. The scrutiny was harsh. Assunta was at the peak of her career, while Jules was already an established figure in politics and business. Their union seemed improbable to many, and the whispers surrounding it only grew louder after their marriage in 2004. Over the years, the criticisms began to fade, replaced by a more nuanced view of their partnership. Assunta scaled back her acting career and embraced her role as a wife, while Jules continued his political work.
Matangkad kasi ako Kung petite lang ako, baka overweight ako, but I'm not I'm too tall.
For nearly 2 decades, they stayed together, disproving those who once predicted a quick fallout. Their story reveals how endurance and patience can transform perception. What began as a marriage clouded by skepticism evolved into an example of resilience, showing that time can sometimes be the best proof of sincerity. But while Assunta and Jules slowly earned acceptance through longevity, another relationship thrived without ever needing the formality of marriage, sparking just as much fascination and perhaps even more speculation. If Assunta de Rossi and Jules Ledesma earned respect through marriage and longevity, Gretchen Barretto and Tony Boy Cojuangco proved that not every lasting relationship needs a wedding ring. With a 19-year age gap between them, their love story has endured for decades, despite never being formalized by marriage. And in a country where tradition and family values often define relationships, this decision has only added fuel to the fascination surrounding them.
My dear Dominic, ito po ang sulat ni Tony Boy sa kanyang anak. Birthdays always serve as great milestones.
From the very beginning, their partnership was met with raised eyebrows. Gretchen, a member of the controversial Barretto clan and a well-known actress, was linked to Tony Boy, a business tycoon with wealth and influence. Many questioned whether their bond could withstand public scrutiny, while others speculated about inheritance, family wealth, and whether Gretchen was content with being the girlfriend indefinitely. The whispers never really faded, even as the years went by.
Lalo't ipinresinta pa ni Claudine na ebidensya sa korte ang marriage contract nila.
Yet through it all, Gretchen and Tony Boy remained unshaken. They built a life together, showed up at events side by side, and supported one another through controversies both personal and public. A couple that refuses to conform to societal expectations, yet still manages to project stability and loyalty. Their story challenges the notion that marriage is the ultimate proof of commitment. While others rush to the altar to prove their love, Gretchen and Tony Boy lived theirs quietly, refusing to let tradition dictate the pace of their relationship. And perhaps that's why people remain so fascinated. They represent a kind of defiance, a refusal to play by the usual rules.
Dadang tawag namin kasi sa isa't isa. Your card is always the same. You always say, I love you. Pwede bang ibahin mo? Kasi si Dom, isang litanya.
Looking back at all these love stories, one thing is clear. Age gap relationships in Philippine showbiz aren't just about romance. They're about how society reacts to them. Again and again, we see the same patterns. Older men with younger women eventually gaining acceptance, while older women face harsher judgment. We see skepticism turn into respect when relationships last. And we see how money, power, and fame magnify every whisper and rumor. But beyond the gossip, these stories reveal why we can't look away. Age gaps challenge our assumptions about love, commitment, and what makes a relationship acceptable. They force us to confront double standards, question tradition, and wonder if love really has limits, or if it's judgment that never grows old. So here's the question I'll leave with you. Do these stories prove that love truly conquers all? Or do they show that society will never stop measuring love against numbers? If you enjoyed this deep dive into the most talked about celebrity age gap couples, don't forget to like this video, hit subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss the next one. Your thoughts matter. Drop a comment below and let's talk about it.